people. Let's talk about it. The dark side of Hollywood that most people don't even speak about, let alone speak on. There are certain conversations, certain languages, certain procedures, certain things that are detailed that have been going on for years, and it's labeled under three words: business as usual. You can't come in and change the standards of Hollywood. You can make a lot of noise and they'll dress things up to make it appear to be different, but it clearly isn't. Clearly isn't. Now, what's up? Hit the like button coming through the door. I know they kind of hold off everybody getting in right away, but definitely get in. I'm gonna enlighten you guys a little bit on what I know. Now, they filmed Ferris Bueller's Day Off around here. You know the big hit Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Oh, oh, oh. Most of y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a classic. But it was filmed up here. Most of the scenes were shot in Glenview, Illinois. So out here they have an annual Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like appreciation. What used to be, because the guy Howard Hughes is from Chicago, he would always come here, and he did Home Alone. All this is always a Chicago reference to everything. All of his films, from The Breakfast Club, that was filmed in Des Plaines. The school that they were at is now a police department. The Illinois, it's actually the home of the Illinois Police Department, the state of Illinois. So that's the state police department. And the lottery for Illinois, for the whole state, that department is right there also, right next to the Illinois State Police Department. Now, let's get to some things we know about Hollywood. During that time when Howard Hughes was filming a movie, nobody would give a redhead girl a chance to be a star in a movie. They would put it in there in details when you would get a one sheet, or basically your invite to the project. They tell you exactly what they want, from eyes to race to hair color, style of hair, how tall are you. They want it all. It's a tale of the tape. When they send in their requests for parts, for auditions, they're like, we're looking for someone that's 6'2", blonde hair, short cut. So actors would get their hairs cut in this way for this role. They would do everything for these parts. They would film audition tapes, send them in to the directors or whoever the assistant guy is who's trying to hire them for this role. I've seen actors take these guys out to dinner and said, let me invite you to dinner, and then I'll explain to you how I'm good for this part. They would pay for the dinner, and these dinners are expensive, especially for an actor, and give them the ideas of what they think the character should be. It's it's brutal, man. So what do you think is going on in an actor's brain? We're in a world where they have to, or they're being told, look, he's looking for a girl who's about 120 pounds, 112 pounds, but she's physically strong, and he's looking for about 22 to 25-year-old, blonde. And that pretty much cuts everybody out of the picture. I sent you an invitational sheet that I wasn't even supposed to get. Steven Spielberg movie, where they were looking for a boy who was Jewish, said Jewish in the whole description, looking for a Jewish kid to play in this movie role. Kid has to be this, 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 and this. And the auditions was held at a Jewish center. Mm-hmm. Oh, casting couch. That's like 70s and 80s. They don't do casting couch no more. Now they do casting house, casting hotel, casting in your house. These two married people sleeping together. They go out and walk their dogs together, and that's how they make their plans. They don't think I know. The whole neighborhood knows. The whole neighborhood knows. The only people that don't know is their spouses. That's an explosion waiting to happen. She go walk her dog, he go walk his dog. Then they run into each other, and they start talking about meeting up. It's crazy. It's like, dog, why do that so close to your house? Stupid. But you can't tell people nothing. You just wait for that bomb to blow up in their face. Now, you know, if I know, the whole neighborhood knows. How long do you think before the husband knows and the other wife knows? Right? But you see what I do, keep it moving. Now, let's get back to this encounter. So, that's mild to what people have to do. Now, here are some of the dark things that people have to go through that you don't know about. They'll have an actor come in for a part and says, we like him for the role, but he has to lose at least 30, 40 pounds. He's too big. We like this guy, but he's got to at least lose 40, 50 pounds and gain more muscle, because it's going to be a physical straining thing. It's going to be very strenuous. We're going to have to put him on a harness belt. We're going to be lifting him around. Now, if we want to take this C-list actor and make him an A-list star, well, we can trust him in big budget movies that he won't torpedo our projects. We got to dress this guy up. We got to invest in him. So you have an agency that says, hey, I got a project here. I got a big star. They like you. You know, who your political figures, heads is, which side you leaning towards. That puts them in a box of where they're going with their support around you. Now, because of it, all these opportunities will come your way. Remember Star-Lord? Chris Pratt? He got the role of Guardians of the Galaxy once he went on a weight loss program. Right? He got 2 big movie deals. Chris Pratt, who was at that time married to his wife, who was bigger than him at the time. You know, he was on the show Community or whatever that was really popular. He was the funny fat guy. They used to call him Fat Pratt. He was always cracking jokes. And he was married to the girl from Scary Movie. They had a kid together, Jack. But she was the famous one. She was more popular. Oh, Parks and Recreation. One of them. They basically the same goddamn thing. Anna Faris, that's her name, Anna Faris, or Anna, whichever country you're from, all right? So, Anna Faris is bigger than him. She was starring in her own movies. So then, they wanted Anna, because she wasn't getting any movie gigs, they said, hey, you know, why don't you work on improving yourself? And they were like, what type of improvements do you want me to do? They said, well, Anna, have you ever thought about going through cosmetic procedures? She lost weight, people just not interested. The character asked for somebody who's at least 36C. You padded your bra, they liked it looked, but then they realized you're wearing a padded bra. Have you ever thought about cosmetic surgery? That would get you more, not something outrageous, just a little bit to make people notice you and say, hey, who was that? So, feeling like she was losing out movie roles to those who had bigger breasts, getting bigger opportunities than her, when she felt she was funnier, had more comedic timing, and she didn't get a movie co-starring Sigourney Weaver. She lost that movie role to Jennifer Love Hewitt, because Jennifer Love Hewitt, she got them cans. So she said, I'm a comedic person. She's like, I don't know, I've never seen her really be funny, but that role should have been mine. But she didn't get it. So what ended up happening was very clear, indirect and precise. They went with a process of elimination. Their desires changed. Their directions changed. Everything that was scopatory and what they believed in changed. So instead of doing something that was practical, she went and got a boob change, got a boob job. She went and got Botox in her lips, got lip fillers. And Hugh Hefner met with her at the Playboy Mansion. Who knows what went on there? But he was coming out with a movie. And now she gets the part. She is now the house bunny. Seth Rogen comes along, puts her in his movie. Observe and Report. He produced that movie, made her the love figure of the movie. She's back in demand. Scary Movie producer Weinstein told her she was too old to continue her role in Scary Movie. But Regina Hall was all good. They're like, yeah, you're a little too old for the character. So they replaced her as to why she wasn't in the other Scary Movies. And they was like, well, why you weren't in the other ones? They said, well, they said I was too old for the character. So they replaced me with another younger girl. And that messes with the psyche. Basically, your agents put you on a program. They're all on Nordic tracks in their house. They're running on treadmills. And by the time they get through running on the treadmills, they're exhausted. They can't eat with everybody else. They have to eat with people who are on the same diet as them. And they have extreme headaches. And then they have to work 14 hours a day for a movie that's going to be an hour and 40 minutes. You're going to work for about a month or 2 months, depending on what kind of movie it is. And then you go through extreme headaches. That's why they ended up getting on painkillers. Even then, because your body has lost all this nutrition. Most of them, when you see them on red carpets, they don't look healthy. And they're sitting there and they're going out to dinners and they've taken painkillers for this headache and they got to go out to dinner now. Now you're drinking wine and liquor, mixing it with the painkillers. You weren't trying to, but you're at dinner. It'd be rude if you didn't take a drink. And if you start sipping water, people think you're pregnant and they don't want to hire you. A lot of things that happen in Hollywood that they don't tell you about. It's the dark side of Hollywood that doesn't get discussed. So after you finish the movie, right, you're done. The movie's done. You had your closeout day. Everybody claps. They walk off the set. Next thing you know, you get called in the callbacks. Here come the callbacks. Hey, hey. Next thing you know, you're getting these callbacks, right? And as you're getting these callbacks, you know what ends up happening in the course of these callbacks for other roles? Now you got to do reshoots because of how big the movie is. So now all the callbacks of what you were trying to do for future work, you got to go back for a reshoot, which was in your contract. You have to go back and do reshoots if need be. So now they bring you out for reshoots. And depending on how your contract is, you might have to pay for your own hotel and your own meals while you out there shooting for a week, depending on how your contract is. Taraji was nominated for an Oscar for her role in the Benjamin Button movie. They did reshoots in New Orleans and wanted to shoot more scenes, so they did reshoots for like a week or so. And she had to pay for her own hotel, not the studio. All the cost was on her. Now, everyone could see that had a brain or half of a brain could see that there's major problems that were brewing. Yeah, well, the Wayans brothers got it back. So they're going to go ahead and move forward and do it that way. You got me walking. That's right. Got to get my steps in, man. Where I'm at with the steps. Probably at like 5,000. Oh, 6,000. That's what's up. I thought I was at 5K. I'm at 6K already? Ain't been 20 minutes. We're making some progress. Now, Tino is Mr. Rogers of the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Come in your house and kiss your wife and hold you hostage to the butcher knife. Would you be mine? Wouldn't you be my neighbor? No. No. Well, it's constant auditioning. Constant auditioning. Like people are always auditioning at a luncheon, at a dinner, at a company function. It's audition, audition, audition. So if people continuously doing this, right? What does this say for your position? It doesn't say pretty much anything, right? Well, it normally doesn't make a lot of sense. Here's my point. Yeah, Rock will get nominated for an Oscar and probably get screwed over, but he's loved in Hollywood, but we'll see what happens. Now, well, the majority of those scary stories are on the Patreon. Now, going back to how he got his movie deal, Chris Pratt and his agent was basically saying, hey, are you willing to make the sacrifice? Because of his political affiliation, he went on a hunting trip with somebody who's an advocate Republican. And he's a producer in Hollywood. And says, you're funny, kid, but I didn't know you were this enlightened. And he was like, and I didn't know you can hunt like this. Most Hollywood actors, and they don't go out and hunt like this. And this is old tradition, passing it down, heritage. So he comes out, invites him out to his estate, and says, I like him. He's like, well, he doesn't have the look of a leading man. They says, well, damn it, you make him one. That's our guy. So he went home, told Anna what happened, and said, hey, I got a real chance here, like to make serious money. But I'm going to have to go on my Schwarzenegger workout plan. And she said, okay. And she showed him a picture of him fat on the beach and said, remember, I love this guy. When he was like this, with the pot belly and everything, he was way much more fun. All the fun times with him was gone. He became obsessed with working out. So halfway through his workout, he had lost about, I would say, maybe, 20 pounds. He had slimmed down, started hitting the weights. He wasn't where he wanted to be yet, but it was good enough for them to get him a hairstylist and put him in a film because he was funny. And he had great comedic timing. And James Gunn says, okay, you're going to be the lead in a new Marvel movie called The Guardians of the Galaxy, and you're playing Star-Lord. So when he played Star-Lord, he was still working out, doing his thing. But when they were filming, he had just lost like maybe 20 pounds and was bulking up and muscle, trying to work out and cut weight, cut weight. So doing that, rehearsals, it was making him grumpy. And he was basically taking it out on his family when he got home. Now, while he's filming this movie, knock, 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 we have another multi-movie deal for you. It's called, wait for it, Jurassic Park. Yep, Spielberg's doing it. You're gonna be the lead character. You're signed in for a 3-movie deal. Wow. It's guaranteed 120 million plus points. You're gonna be superstar. See, that's what they do. So the actors they love, they lock them into 2 projects that are gonna be multi-film. And no matter what, if they decide not to make the movie, you still gonna get paid. So he was locked in to do these 3 movies. As for his co-star, Bryce Howard. And then, about the time Jurassic World came, he was in his peak condition, as he had to make sure he was in peak condition. But he is a natural hunter in real life. So it fit with his character, being someone who hunts and, training the animals and everything. He became a household name by this point, playing these two characters, which launched him to get other movie roles in Hollywood. But it cost him his marriage, because they felt your wife is pulling you down. She wants you to spend more time at home. He wants more kids. She don't. And this became a struggle in the household, because he's trying to create this whole political family. She doesn't want that. So they switch, and everything changes. Then you start seeing the dark side of Hollywood, front and center. Oh, the dark side of Hollywood does not mind showing its pretty face. No, it does not. See, what the dark side of Hollywood does is they don't care. They're Hollywood. You need them. And they're going to remind you of it, that there's thousands of people that can replace you. So he got a divorce, and they put him in arrangement with Schwarzenegger's daughter. They liked him. Arnold Schwarzenegger likes him. He's a hunter. He's a Republican. He's right, but they need to be. So that just shows you how Hollywood works. They split up a family, put him with another person that they wanted him with, the Schwarzenegger girl. And now they have these kids, the whole nine. And not necessarily all of that happened in that order. Meaning the divorce happened and then X, Y, and Z. But it just shows you the power of Hollywood. Uh-oh, they got a danger for the beat. You ain't got to tell me twice. Like I just gave you the breakdown on what happened. And he was a great dad, lousy husband. Well, you need people that understand that all the divisions that are put in place they're put in place for a reason. And that's for the protection of certain people. So they need people with their beliefs, their ideals, their practices to coexist. So when you see a wave of people, a plethora of people, oh yeah, this course is much darker. I've seen people demean themselves for a movie role. The movie was very intense that they were playing. They need to know this actress could play this part. So she had to get on her knees. They play this music. She does a dance routine. She spins around wearing some lingerie and a clothes set with the assistant director and a couple of people on the staff. And the main director wasn't even there, just the assistant director. So the AD is telling her how the shot is supposed to be done. She does the music and she's supposed to crawl to him, but she's really crawling to the camera. And, right, it's 200 times. I'm not just getting the steam. She was like, well, I'm kind of tired. Just tell me what you want. I could do it topless. And then that's how it starts. Now she's doing it topless. Now she's more loose. And that's how a lot of this stuff starts. There have been a lot of sleazeball actors who have done these type of practices because they get off on it. And that's why most of the directors were normally creeps. A director who's very known for making little movies, whose name rhymes with Margarito. We'll just say Benton Margarito. And there will be a lot of cocaine. There'll be lots of cocaine. And best friends, producers, directors, they come there and his mind is just projecting different images that he sees. He gets an actress. They lure them over, tell them to audition. They're drinking, they're doing this, they're doing X, Y, and Z. Some actresses, they become numb to the process. They need the money. They get to do free drugs. And they get to hang out with a guy who probably wants them to blow them at best. And if they do so much drugs, they won't even be able to function. So some of them just like the companionship. They're lonely, bored, and want you over there. So Many actresses get pushed into positions because of things that they're willing to do. Some that they're willing not to do. Yes. Now, everything transforms and moves around, right? You got an actor who nobody really knows their private life and know how, because you laugh at their comedies they make. But then you wonder, like, man, how does this person keep getting these roles? And what happened to their brothers? It's two brothers in Hollywood. We'll just say their names rhyme with Pilsen. So the Pilsen brothers were all into comedy. And big brother Duke Pilsen was the star. He was the breakout star that they wanted to make into romantic comedies. While his little brother, who we'll call Bowen Pilsen. Well, Bowen was thinking a little different. So when you start thinking about, well, what happened to Duke? Duke was doing good. Duke was this man. Duke was all right. What happened to Duke? Duke just disappeared. And out of nowhere, here comes Bowen. Bowen Pilsen is just doing his thing, right? Now, nobody knows Bowen's in everything now that you would think Duke would be in. But whatever happened? Well, that's why I said the darkness of Hollywood. When people go too much into this, girls, pills, drugs, all of it, they spiral. Some people break and they snap. They go out of control. And that's what happened. He literally became like one of the characters in the movie. Gotten out of control. Gotten real big. Then, after a few years, he decided to come back. So another guy decided to work with his brother instead because he was such a mess. But they never discussed his problems in the media, nothing. Stayed within the family. But people not only never discussed the problems they were also having, that they were going to have with Bowen. Same problem, different situation. See, Bowen like his brother, they have a family trait, right? The Pilsen family have a long list of mental, psychological issues within the family that nobody in Hollywood pretty much talks about or know about, right? Depression runs deep into the family. They were all on meds. But when you see this person in the movies, you would think they got it all together. They're rolling. But they're not. So Bowen is dating a Hollywood actress. He's at the top and peak of his career. And she doesn't want to continue to do drugs with him anymore. She's done. She's moving away. His drug use has gotten out of control. His abuse of pills, drinking. He's just not a happy person. And while she's gone, during the midst of his depression, phone calls and text messages, he decides to try to take his own life. Now, Bowen had to get himself together, go through therapy, rehab, not drug rehab, but they go to a mental clinic, therapist. Then they tell him 100%. They said, hey, don't worry. We'll get you a chick. You won't be bored. Get you another girl. We need you making money, putting out hits. Come on, Bowen. Meanwhile, Duke is doing things to get by, but never really doing anything with his brother. They mostly go their own ways, and people never really ask why. Like, man, why don't you guys do this stuff together? Well, let's just say this guy made, if you were having a mishaps, right? And going through a hard time, and your friends who was with you decide to go with your friend, your brother, instead of you. And then your brother goes ahead and gets all these multi-million-dollar deals. Meanwhile, you don't. How you doing? Meanwhile, you don't get these deals. They go to your brother. They're not going to you. And your brother don't say, hey man, thanks. Or, man, this is a good opportunity for me. I'm glad they chose me. Would you still be okay with those friends? Or the brother who just stepped in and took your place? kind of want to make sure that you're taking the right course of action when it comes to overall perceptional health. No, not really, because it doesn't really benefit you. See, if those projections and scales don't change, eventually that'll turn against you. Oh, there's actresses who I've known who suffer from bulimia because they have to appear skinny even in magazine shoots. You're auditioning even in magazines. Some people have seen girls in magazines, actresses, and says, "Oh, we got to cast that person." You think Vanity Fair? Vanity Fair is a business audition. Whoever gets that cover of that Vanity Fair, that person is an A-list. Jay-Z wanted to get on the cover with Beyonce of Vanity Fair. They didn't allow that. They put Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union in Vanity Fair. I don't know if they got the cover, but they got in Vanity Fair for their fashion choices and the way they stood out. And they're going to all of these different fashion events over in Paris and Venice, and all of this stuff is comped. They got all of these things laid out for them. The luxury, spoiling the rich. They love it. So doing Jennifer Aniston to all of these other women who they love in these bikinis and bikini tops, and they throw them into these screens. But Jennifer Aniston went from a C-list actor to an A-list actor by being on television. Doesn't really happen that far or that fast on its only selected few. A bunch of C-rated actors, still a concept from a show that's already working, and they do it, and they become friends. And now they have to sunbathe, they have to go on diets, they have to go and eat things that don't agree with them, and stay detox, stay clean. Now that they got this Ozempic thing, they're like, I could just take this Ozempic and I'll be good to go. Now it's the new Hollywood dietary. Now all of these actors are extra skinny, and they look like it's going too far, and they're getting addicted to the Ozempic. No. Well, most people don't see it that way. I see it as an opportunity to grow. Other people see it as an opportunity to take advantage of. So it's all a point of or a prospective of your own belief. What are you are willing to believe? Mm-hmm. Well, with these people, they were considerably a person that you didn't want to get involved in. What's good? What's good? Well, I like the situations the way they were working. But when you deal with avenues and uh, when you get to the oh, mm, no, oh my God, they had an actress get the part over a girl, and the girl went through so much strenuous stuff. It was crazy. She almost drowned, and then they put another girl in there, spun her around, and she almost drowned. And a lot of people think they're best of friends, and they're not really best of friends. You know, went on to become a Marvel hero. Had a big hit with his first Marvel movie after having two big hits with his Marvel character that he played for Fox. When Fox went out of business, and he went over to The Big Show. In his first movie, they knocked it out the park. Yes, this person is known for being very quick with his comedy, very funny to some, and very annoying to others. But real life, a lot of people believe this person is very mean, very callous. And now he's, a A-list star. Mm-hmm. Well, now that the person's an A-list star, you start looking at situations where they become abusive with the power that they have. And they were trying to force an actress into a position of, you know, just had a baby. Now it's like, well, you're not at the weight we want you to be at. And meanwhile, said actress is breastfeeding. So certain things she can't do physically, which upset the studio. And they was like, well, why do we have her here anyway? It's like, well, she's the arc of the film. So without her, there's no arc of the movie. So they spend millions building a doggone set that filled up with water and would spin people upside down, suspend them in it. They had to be trained into this. And the scene is never included into film. You never see it in the movie. So they spent millions, just threw it away, building a set for something that basically just doesn't make any sense. Woo, over 10,000 steps. Holla at ya, boy. Now, Yeah, that's just some of it. But let me get situated here, get ready for the Bears game. Shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Follow him. Welcome to HDII TV. Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez. Too Raw for TV. My Patreon, which is Carcino for Life. I know you got the updates. We already put out Patreon stuff. There's more where that came from. And that's just some of it. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm out.